what's up, guys? This is what if Riser didn't want to marry Rias. And I remember thinking then they wouldn't have married. There wouldn't be that whole fight in the beginning. And you're mostly right, but you're also just a little bit wrong. In this version, Riser and Rias are actually on good terms. They both know that they don't want to marry each other. Riser loves Ubaluna, like will fucking die for her love. He's threatened his father, his brothers to protect her, and a few times he's gotten his ass beat over her. That's why in this version he's not so unscathed. He's been shown that he's mere mortal a few times by his father and brothers. Simply put, they want to do whatever the fuck they want to her, and he's stepped in their way, and they've beaten the living shit out of him. And Riser's plan, his big plan for his peerage, is that other than his, like, even his sister could, all join, like, Ubaluna could become an elite, like, she becomes a high class, and takes everyone from Riser's peerage, so he can, escape. He can attack his family, so they have enough time to run away, and he can escape himself. Since they wouldn't be his peerage anymore, they could all vanish. He couldn't. He'd have to fight. He knows he would die. Thing is, he doesn't care. It's kind of what he doesn't give a fuck about. He doesn't care about his own life compared to what he cares about them. His little sister, their parents never raised her. He did. He raised his little sister from birth to this point in time with them. Straight up, because you know how many years older he is than her. It's kind of weird because he was a little kid trying to take care of her. And yeah, that's been going on for years. Now, they've always argued a little bit about it, but Riser has never had the strength to truly say, no, I don't want to marry her, I love you, Baluna, since if he did, he would straight up be getting his mouth torn off and sewn shut when it came back. And because he can't deal with that, he instead decided, because he loves his harem and his queen more than his own life, he decided something that he would never do. In canon, he decided, knowing he didn't want to marry Rias, he told Rias, hey, it's for the Grimmery and Phoenix. I hate to even bring this up, being that both of us don't want to marry someone we don't love, but if you're willing, we could maybe just, go through with it. What? Rias is ready to put destruction energy through his head. He said, wait, we could go through with it, and then just see other people. That we could, but I don't think that'd be a good idea. I want to marry the man I love. You're right, but we can't face against them. You know what the council will do if we say no. Riser then showing the 3 scars he got on his neck from being brutally beaten by his father, who is a member of the council, because it's all the older devils that are the members of the council. Only the heads are the members. The kids don't really have much say in what the fuck goes on. But this is when we go to what happens with, his own older brothers. Neither of them fucking care about Riser. Hell, they were the perfect children for the Phoenix family. Riser and Ravel, they're just more puppets. Riser's supposed to marry Rias, do whatever the fuck he's told, and eventually, have a kid. Ravel is going to they're trying to marry her off to another high-end house, which is the one that tried kidnapping Ossia. Yeah, they're going to try to give her to that family. But in this version, it doesn't go so easily because, well, a few problems. Because in this version, when Riser shows up, because these family move that upwards, saying y'all need to marry now because hearing about Rias having more pieces, now 3 of them being men. Fuck no, they don't want that. There's a chance that she won't marry him at that rate. So they had to make that whole thing happen. Riser saying, Rias, I know neither of us want this, but we have no choice. Think about what the elders will do to us. Rias saying, I don't give a damn what the elders try to do. You know your brother will pay for this. He cares enough about you to fight for you, but he won't be able to stop them. Tears in Riser's eyes saying, there's no way we can win. Even if both our peerages came together and attacked the elders with your brother's help, hell, even if the strongest other devil in existence came to help us, we couldn't win this. We could have 2 mouths on our side and we would still lose. I know. Thing is, Phoenix would have to be the one to go against, against, uh, it was, the other high class devil, forgot the name. But, here we go. So, Phoenix would be the one that would have to go up over, against Ijuka, because Ijuka is that strong. He's the second strongest devil, and he's the only one who can, fight with the Phoenix. But the Phoenix has the other hand, like, it's immortal, it can fight. The head of Phoenix family could keep up with Ijuka, but admittingly, its attacks wouldn't do jack shit. They'd have to basically divide it into 3 groups. Most of which would all be in the first and second one, and the third group, which would be dealing with the peerages, would straight up just annihilate them. And they're even though Syra Org Bale and the Bale household leader, his father has threatened him, saying, "You're not going to help your cousin, you know that. We're not going to interfere. This is for the betterment of devils." Being that he can't fucking stand against this, what the fuck's he gonna do? He's gonna get his ass beat. But that doesn't stop Cyborg from saying, "I don't care." As he's been hit with destruction energy more times, since that's the Bale House magic. But back to the what if. Even without the power of destruction, which kinda sucks that he doesn't have it, he's strong. But the Phoenix clan, not Phoenix, the Grimmery clan, their power is called blood manipulation. They can make blades out of their weapons out of their blood, and if it enters your body, then it straight up tries to stop you from the inside. Thing is, it will work the best against your own children. Like, Sir Zex couldn't fully stop his father because of this magic that he has. Because he's half of his father, so it's hard for him to deal with. Neither could Rias, in all actuality. Although, admittingly, Sir Zex is strong enough that he could basically use his destruction magic to try destroying the blood inside of his system. But he would be so weakened by doing that it wouldn't help him very much. Even if he used all magic to try stopping this, it would rip him apart trying to stop this. Now, by no means is he completely immobilized by this. It just slows him down. Enough that even probably 2 high class could probably kill him. Yeah. Now, back to the what if. Now, this is when we get to see Issei meet Riser, right after Rias begged him to go to sleep with her, when, Graphia said, "We don't want this to happen either, but we have no other choice." So Zex does give you an out, though. If you can defeat Riser with your peerage, you know that's impossible. They won't let him hold back. You know how strong his team is. I know. As this is when Issei says, "What the fuck? I need to hear this. Come to the club room tomorrow." Alright. Issei getting there completely confused as fuck. Riser appearing and straight up saying, "Look, Riz, we're all gonna be honest here. I don't want to marry you. You don't want to marry me. We can't stop this because those elders are fucking crazy." True. This is when Issei said something that surprised both of them. Fuck them elders, man. Who gives a fuck? This is when they stated how it's their parents and the whole Phoenix and Grimmery family want this. This is when Issei had an idea. "I have a plan." "What?" "You said if we defeat you, right? Let's do it." "Thank you," Issei, "but you're not strong enough." Watch, as he got his weakest pawn out to try to have basically a beta match against this. But it was so easy for that weaker one to win. It was crazy. Seeing this happen, Issei said, What? I lost?" "Yes, you got sent flying." Admittingly, on the other hand, Konako was able to 1v1 the knight, the rook, and actually win that fight. Kiba was able to 1v1 the knight and actually win that. Akino was actually about even with the queen. And yeah, Asia could not hang with the bishop. This is when Issei said, "Wait, don't you have another peerage mate? Don't we have another peerage person with your group, Rias?" I do, but I'm sorry, Issei, I don't think I could get him out." "Why?" "Why not? Simply put, he's too strong. He would stop everyone in time, and that's what we need right now. We need someone too strong." "Let me finish, Issei. If we let him out right now, he may go berserk, and no one can stop him. Except for my brother. Fine. Well, we need to train then. Thank you. And this is when Riser actually dropped off a hint. You're welcome. As saying, because they're newbies, how long do they get to train against it? 1 week, sadly. Damn it, that won't be enough time. Issei, come here. What is it? Here. As he gave him 2 phoenix tears. Call him a gift, bro. You're gonna need them more than I will. But, dude, these are... This is when Rabble actually said, brother, those are so expensive. This is when Riser Strip said, look, I'm gonna be honest with you. He needs them more than we will in this fight. Even if, because we still need to give them Phoenix Tears for the battle. If he takes those, he can probably have a chance on me. But only if he's stronger. Hearing that they have to train for 7 days, they do it. Issei was more intensified in training. Because every day, Riser would send a message. Via, magic, saying, keep going, get stronger, doing all that. But his group was told, don't you want to train? This is when Riser acted all cocky the way he acted in canon. Saying, no, we won't need to train, there won't even be a big fight for us. Basically having to act like he actually wanted to marry Rias. Basically acting the way he did in canon, only to his family, because he fucking hated them. His brother saying, good, by the way, if you lose, on purpose, we're going to kill your queen. Riser agreed to see saying, you're going to what? We're going to kill your queen if you lose. No, the fuck you're not. Why? Because if it's a battle, if it's an earned win on their part, why the fuck do I lose my strongest member? Why the fuck do I lose the only one that can keep up? The only one who could viably help me win? Oh, simple. Because we don't care. You know what? You want to pull that? We're done. Oh, please, little brother, you can't stop me. Riser getting kicked right in the gut as hard as his brother could. This strip split Riser in half, his blood showering his entire peerage, including his queen. Riser hitting the floor, his torso does, as his legs were basically beaten. His legs were torn in half and beaten to he was beaten the shit out of by his own legs. He was laid on the ground, defenseless, burned pretty badly by his older brother. You think you can stop me, Riser? Please, you're a 2-winged. I'm a 10. You ever fucking think about this? Kicking Riser right in the skull, Riser's head rolling a good bit. This is when Ravel said, stop. Ruvel said, oh really? Really, Ravel? You want to try me too? I'll end you just as easily. As he stopped right in his tracks. Confused on what the hell's stopping him, it's his father's hand pulling him back. Father, why? Because we need her in perfect condition for the man we want her to marry. Now hurry and go get me those church clothes for her. What? Ravel, not understanding what's going on, he said, well, the son of a Lucifer is actually... Well, the little brother of a Lucifer is actually going to marry you. What? Don't worry. It'll be perfect for you. You just have to dress like a nun. What? This is when Riser said, hold on. Barely even able to get up, breathing heavily as he just healed. Standing back up, his brother saying, oh, you want some more? Hold on. I need her for my raiding game. I don't want to lose to Rias. Them only half-heartedly believing this, saying, alright. What do you mean you need her for your raiding game? She needs to get stronger. I don't care about anything else. She needs to help me on this. Why? Because that Issei boy. What? His strength. It overwhelms mine. You're kidding. No. Her pawn. His strength. He's the Red Dragon Emperor. I have to be the one to stop him. But my sister is going to have to help my peerage while I'm unable to. You mean it's probably going to be me versus the Red Dragon Emperor from the get-go. We're going to have a fight. the whole way through. And by chance, probably most of my team is going to be defeated. Thing is, it's going to come down to a me versus Rias. And in the end, if Ravel hasn't at least weakened Rias, then I am fucked. His family actually buying this, saying, alright, then if that's what you need her for, we'll allow it. Let's postpone her marriage for a little while. Besides, wouldn't you have to wait until she's 18? Oh, you really think we would? Well, legally, she wouldn't be married until 18, but we wouldn't have to fully wait. Yeah, you would, technically. What do you mean, technically? For marriage. Do you ever know how fucked up it would be to have a 17-year-old girl already, like a 16-year-old daughter already married? Come on, wait the 2 years. Fine, Riser, you care that much about your sister. We'll wait those 2 years. But, just know, if you don't have a child by then, we'll beat the living shit out of you. Rubel starts laughing out, saying. Riser saying, oh really? Fine. Do it like that then. But wait those goddamn 2 years. She has 2 years to gather a peerage at least. What do you mean? She needs, once after this fight, once I've gotten my wife, I'm going to get another peerage member. At least try to. And my sister is going to become her own king. So she can get her own peerage. Hopefully in Kuo. Why in Kuo? Because it's going to be my dear wife's area. Why wouldn't she need to go? Now, thing is, Ravel's mother loves her. And Riser. They're her babies. Like, they're her two youngest. She would fight for them. But, last time she tried, she got sent outside the house for 2 weeks. She is a phoenix. But, if she tries doing anything against her husband, she's going to be put in the dirt. Simple as that. There's no way to kind of disturb whatever he wants, he gets. And her older two sons treat her like trash, too. She's basically tried doing her damnedest to raise her youngest two, but has never been able to, since every time she tries, she's basically belittled by her oldest and her husband. She fucking hates him. But she can't physically stop it. This is when you hear a loud crash of power. It was Ubaluna. They said, Ubaluna, pick up that mess. What? Why did you make that explosion? Ubaluna simply stating, my apologies, sir. I was training with Ravel. What do you mean, training with Ravel? Well, we were trying to put our magic together, try making a flaming phoenix explosion, but it seems to have been a little too strong right now. We need to work on it. It was magic control for her. Oh. You know what? How about this? Riser. Yes? You clean it up then. If it's your peerage training, then you have to clean it. As he got kicked right in the teeth by his father. As Riser hit the floor, basically exhausted. Good, now lap up all that dirty soot. As they kicked him again. Riser, who's basically damn near exhausted at this point, has to go through this shit for a week. Then, once that week is done, they stood against each other. Riser basically being threatened, hey, if you know what happens if you lose this fight. Yeah, I know. Rias knows the truth. If they lose that fight, if the Phoenix family loses the fight, then they're fucked over and they are going to have to deal with the... Look, if Riser loses the fight, he's losing his queen and everything to him. He's going to have everyone taken away from him and killed in front of him. Except for his little sister, who's going to be given away to some bastard who he fucking hates. He has no way. Theodora Astaroth. He has no way of stopping this. His original plan was once, he was strong enough, he would stop Theodora's shit. But he couldn't. He physically couldn't. Since Theodora has basically done multiple times when he's basically perved over over Riser's younger sister, and anytime Ravel said, please stop, he just gets worse. And Riser straight up looked him in the eye and said, stop your shit. This just got his ass whooped by his father and brothers. Though, Ravel doesn't get messed with after that point because seeing that there's blood, and he gets back up and looks eye to eye with this guy, it's enough to scare Theodora, saying, he's willing to take that much of a beating for her? Well, it wouldn't stop me, but I will be nice enough this a few times more. Basically thinking, when we're married, I wonder how much I can torture that man. Whatever, I'll do what I want. This is when a slight weird thing would occur. Since, this is when the match happens, and it begins with him basically having to do what he said. This is when he roared out, Issei Hyodo, 1v1, me and you. Let the rest of the peerage fight each other. Hearing that this is basically a call out, Issei says, you crazy bastard, that's your plan. Issei basically being able to tell. His plan was to fight against each other at full force, and if Riser lost only, then his peerage would be able to either escape, or they would be able to get sheltered from Rias, by Rias' peerage. But, one way or another, his family's going to kill him. Which he knows that already. This is when him and Issei go to brawling, and they're going at it. Like, it's a full-on fight until Riser accidentally, and I do mean accidentally, kicks Issei right into a building. He went through the first building and hit the second. He yelled, promotion, queen. Riser basically saying, oh shit. Small smirk on his face saying, come at me. Both flying at each other and fighting at full force. While this is happening, Rias and Akeno and all them are fighting Riser's peerage. Not knowing the plan at all that Issei and Riser have cooked up. This is when Riser hears, Riser Phoenix, 8 pawns eliminated. Riser Phoenix, 2 rooks eliminated. Riser Phoenix, 2 pawns. No, wait, no, it was Riser Phoenix, 8 pawns eliminated. Riser Phoenix, 2 rooks eliminated. Riser Phoenix, 2 knights eliminated. Riser Phoenix, 1 bishop eliminated. Riser Phoenix, 1 queen eliminated. Basically, Ravel was the only one left in the game. Riser knows he has to win. He fucking has to. With tears made of blood in his eyes, he fights as full force. And actually knocked Issei. Because it was for his group, he did what he never thought he would have to. He almost killed Issei. Once Issei was taken down, right when he was about to die, Rias basically had to yell, I surrender, so Issei would be sent into recovery. Or else he would die. Riser with tears in his eyes saying, I'm sorry, Issei. Begging for forgiveness, but no one heard this, since he was doing this in his own room while crying, catching all his phoenix tears. His father was asking, why the hell are you crying in there? This is when Riser simply said, I'm helping the family business. Good. That better be the only reason why you're crying. Their family business is basically selling phoenix tears. That is, tears. They cry, it goes into a jar, and they basically sell that shit. But back to what if. No, this one, yeah. Issei then basically says, after he got up, what the hell, Riser? This is when Drake said, listen, partner. That boy was given one of 2 choices. Either win and marry Rias, or lose, and his peerage be removed from him. They would be killed in front of him by his own parents and siblings. I don't feel bad for what happened. I feel bad for him, even. Those Phoenix bastards have always been manipulative little shits. I'll tell you what, Issei. Make me a deal and you can defeat them. Even if it isn't them you defeat, even if it's just Riser, so you can win this and get things changing. That's his plan. Issei, who's ever so slightly stronger than he was in canon, being just enough that he could stay fighting, saying, you have 11 seconds in Balance Breaker, if you give me that arm. Issei saying, do it! This makes him lose his left arm, but he walks up into the fight. And they're terrified. Issei looking at them with only his regular ass clothes there. As he ran in and one-shot a guard. He kept fighting and fighting, boosting and boosting. Once he had reached his max number of boosts, he stood next to Riser, challenging him, saying if he defeats Rias, If he defeats Riser, Rias would be let go and given the choice. Sir Zex basically saying, alright, if that's what you want, I'll grant you 3 wishes if you can defeat him. He's actually having a little bit of an idea. First wish. I wish for Rias to be able to make her own choices. Second wish. I wish for Riser Phoenix to make his own choices. And third wish. Yes? I wish Ravel herself was able to make her own choices. Basically, his only wishes were basically have these 3 devils able to make their choices for who they marry. So Zek's saying, if you win, I can make that arranged. All the older devils are like, why would you make that arranged? As he said, wait. I am the Demon King. Did I not say what I said? So Zek's actually scaring most of the higher-ups. The council's saying, this is blasphemy. This is retarded. Why would we do this? This is when saying, oh, what? Are you scared that a newborn devil could kill a phoenix? Even if it isn't a fight to the death, it's a battle to defeat. Do you think the Phoenix family would lose? The head of the Phoenix House saying, hell no. Riser, if you hold back even a drop of your power, I will kill you. Everyone hearing this saying, what the fuck did he just say? But not really caring, thinking, whatever. Sir Zek's actually being more pissed off at him, saying, go. Issei stood and walked forward. Right? Sir Zex actually has a plan if they lose. If they lose, he's got 4 griffins. His plan was that if they lose, he stands in the way, using his destruction magic to stop people in his path, so that everyone can escape and get to Kuo. Get at least far away from there, as far as they can, even if he dies in the process. His literal plan is a suicide mission. If this fails, but it's better than nothing. As this one, Issei went into Balance Breaker against Riser. It was a full-ass fight. Riser saying, I'm sorry, Issei, but I'm not holding back. Good, Riser, because neither am I. They both fly at each other with full intent of kill. Well, at least not intent to kill, but intent of victory in their eyes. Every shot breaking armor. Every single hit damn near killing each other. Riser's arm has been taken off 4 times, and he's recovered it each time. Issei's armor has shattered around him, but recovered each time. When the 11 seconds go off, Issei still stands. Riser barely. They keep fighting without any balance breaker to a basically exhausted Phoenix with no healing powers. So it's basically a fight 1v1. When Issei reveals what he has kind of embedded into his gear, it's a rosary. He had Drake absorb it, and now he's got a rosary on when he does this. As it's basically like a rosary brass knuckle type shape, he punches it, and boom! Riser has a burn on his face. He infuses his thing with holy water, and it starts shining as that punch hit Riser in the gut. Riser hit the floor. This is when that whole thing about all that, Issei still stood strong, and he barely won. But he still has enough energy left in the tank. He has the ability to fight. This is when the head of Phoenix straight up says, too weak, both of them, and tries going in there himself to try attacking Issei. Right when he fucking does, he is stopped in his tracks by someone he wasn't expecting. Cyro-Org Bale is standing there, looking eye to fucking eye with the head of Phoenix. Phoenix saying, get out of my way, child. Cyro-Org saying, that was a damn good fight. That was a win fair and square. If you try to attack that boy, I will end you. You don't have your destruction power of your family. What makes you think you could win? Oh shit. As Cyro-Org straight up ran, and one punch sending this grown-ass man flying, knocking him clean the fuck out. But that's all it did. That's all it did, was knock him clean the fuck out. Nothing else. So, yeah. They just would know that it would knock him clean the fuck out if they did it. So they didn't. Everyone noting that even though this full-fledged Phoenix just got knocked the fuck out, the two sons of his who are almost as strong as he is, or around the same strength, tried jumping in saying, "Stupid boy, without powers you can't defeat us." Yeah! As they both tried jumping in, only to be hit with a dragon shot. This hit one of them in the back, turning around as he flew at Issei trying to kill him, since that was basically what it took for Cyber to get that last second in, to knock one out and come in the front, come behind, and suplex City bitch that next one. Issei picks up Riser and basically says, "I have beaten you. You have not beaten me. I win. I get my 3 wishes." Some of the elders basically saying, "No the fuck you're not, yada yada yada." Issei straight saying, "What was that?" Surzek saying, "I made that boy a promise. I'm damn sure keeping it." Yes, sir. Good. His own father saying, "You showed great admiration in this fight. You didn't take a side. And for once, I'm fine with losing this. But just know, if I feel that you're getting weak, Surzek, my son, I will kill you." He says, "Do it then, father." Thing is, fun fact, when the Grimmer uses that ability of blood, he basically is putting his own body in the same position as, Surzek. Surzek can't get out of that position. He can move one arm. The Grimmeries can move one of their arms when they're in that position, and the other person will stay stuck while that's happening. That's it. They can only move one limb to protect themselves. Usually, their blood basically stopping someone as they put a big ass shield around them and magic barrier spells, so they won't, die to whoever else is on the battlefield. But back to What If. Issei stood strong, and Cyberorg held his fist up in victory, saying, "This boy has won. No more discussion." This is when Issei was surprised at how much strength Cyborg actually had. Cyborg saying, at least they didn't know how to fight properly. They relied too much on their immortality. This is when Ravel basically jumps in, saying, "Issei, I want to marry you." Issei saying, "What the fuck?" As he's basically slammed into the ground, hurt as shit, saying, "Ow." Riser teleports over to, a healing area so he can get a Phoenix, so he can, heal with a Phoenix here. Ravel basically picks up Issei and pulls his ass all the way to the back, trying to, do stuff. Trying to kiss him and all that shit. He says, "Stop." Okay. Now, as Issei basically then proceeded to, fly home on that Griffin for them all to, have a ride back. And he was exhausted as shit to do it. Well, that's all it took, really. Issei stood strong as if he was that guy. Because he is. So like I was saying, yeah. He just barely won this, and this is where we're going to... We could either end this off as a part 1, or we could, fully keep going. Which, this is the full series of it, which I never made multi-parts because it's that, 30-minute parts. But, yeah. Here's part 2. So at this point, Issei has thought he's tough shit, and he's been doing nothing but training. In case, he ever has to handle the Phoenixes again, because they've pissed and straight up said, "If we ever get the chance, we're killing you, Issei Hayono." Issei straight up said, "Fuck you. And if you ever get that chance, I'll be strong enough to beat your ass." Hearing this, he kinda has to hold up that end of his bargain. If, he's gonna fight them, he has to be able to beat the ass. He does not have that strength yet, but he does have something. He has the boosted gear. And every night he's training with Drake, every day he's training with Rias and the Peerage and all that. But this gets him enough strength for what he wants. He wants to be the strongest in the Peerage, and he physically is. Now, at this point is when we would have the events with Kokobile. Thing is, Issei already had to deal with someone he's already had shown that he can actually hurt someone that strong. Now, admittingly, he was just a 10 weight. He wasn't the same strength as Kobe. He was actually a little bit weaker. But, well, actually a good bit weaker, but that doesn't make him any less, viable. And that was a weaker version of Issei, too. At this point, Issei knows he can go back into Balance Breaker on, well, a few conditions. One, first condition, he'd have to use everything he had. Second condition, if he did this, it would damn near kill him. Third condition, well, it wouldn't really damn near kill him. It would take his other arm, or at least one of his limbs. Be it whichever one, it would still take one. So yeah, in this version, he has no other choice. He's been fighting against Kokubila. He can't beat him. His rage has only got him so far. And said, Drake, I make the deal. Take part of me it lands on. Basically, Drake having a wheel and saying which part of him it will take. He's already marked off, left arm, but will it take right arm? Will it take left leg? Will it take what? It ends up on eyes. Issei says, fine, so fucking let it be. His eyes basically turning green and dragonic. He flies forward, and with his balance breaker equipped, he is beating the ass of a fallen angel general. Like Kokubila's getting his ass whooped. And until the end of the fight, Issei hit the floor and collapsed, as Kokubila couldn't get up after that. And this is after everyone has already had their shit. This is right this point is when that one guy, this one little asshole appears. Volley Lucifer. He appears saying, ha, well, fated rival, that was impressive, but if that's all you have, then there's no point. Tearing Kokubila's wings off, and then dragging his bitch ass all the way to Azazel and throwing him right in front of him. Azazel saying, gotcha, bitch. What? As Azazel kicked him right in the mouth, saying, that's for trying to kill them. That's for almost ending my peace. And that's because you're an asshole. 3 different kicks, one in the mouth, one to the stomach, and the final to the dick. This is what kind of fucked over Kokubila in the fight. Since, he just basically got his ass beat, and now he just got kicked in the dick. No wings, no balls, nothing. He's fucked. He feels like he's fucked over. As he gets put in a frozen ice at the bottom of hell. It's the coldest place. It's a basically frozen hell, and he's stuck there. He cannot get out. It's where they only keep the worst of the worst. Now, there's no one that can actually be a threat. There, like, even Kokubila is probably one of the strongest people there, but that's it. Now, this is when they note that, this is when they actually have that meeting. And this meeting does not go as canon. Because right when they have that meeting, they meet someone they weren't expecting. They meet the strongest danger to their kind. They met the angels. And yes, the same girl kind of joined them. But in this version, when Issei's trained, he's ready for a fight. When he gets there, hearing what happened to Gasper and all that shit, he's pissed. He flies over there and socks that person who has him right in the gut, cutting his own arm. Because the lady did try chopping his arm off, only cutting it as as the blood of a dragon flew right into Gasper's mouth. Gasper sang, oh shit. Gasper walks in, basically turns to a bat and starts ripping everyone apart. Let's go. He said that as if he was the boss. Issei saying, attaboy. This is when he notes those rings that Azazel gave him, he uses one to fight one to fight against, an army. Since in this version, Volley wasn't actually fully fighting the army, he was holding back so much. Issei, when he got back, had to deal with that. Then, noting it took one, then he had to fight Volley with one, and then finally, Bigu. Since, Issei's gauntlet kind of came off. And you might think, why didn't anyone else fight Bigu? Well, they didn't really have the strength to, since, been enough of a fight already. Issei saying, God damn it. As he barely is beating as he's barely able to win, he yells, Drake, do it! Fine. As it took Issei's throat. since now his organs and throat would all be just like a dragon's. Ah. As he roared out in flame, he went into Balance Breaker and started beating that ass. That's when, right when they escape, when they see Kuroka, basically teleport them out of there. Issei, who just barely falls out of Balance Breaker, as he hit the floor and his face got buried in mud. Huffing and puffing like he was straight up dying, them saying, "You did good, Issei! Thank you so much!" Alright. Well, we have to go down. This one, like the whole summer break thing happened. They went down there to train. That happens as canon. But they do a little bit better since, you know, a dragon versus dragon fight occurred. Issei is strong enough to pose a threat. He's stronger than a sprite dragon, so he's more of a threat than most people there. He didn't turn on. He was about to yell, "Drake, make the deal." This is when Drake Strip said, "Partner, you can't make that deal right now." Why? Because you get 5 seconds without the deal. That'll work. Before that, as he started breathing flames at each other at full force. Issei was obviously losing, but he was doing damn good doing it. Like, it was enough force to push back the larger dragon, while Issei was being sent flying. He yelled, "Now, Drake," going into Balance Breaker and roaring more into flames and flames and flames. Noting even now he's struggling to win, but he wins. Because the amount he was using was still only 1,000th of a percent, which made it was an actual fight. An even one, almost. Issei collapses and passes out after the fight, saying, "That hurt." Basically spitting out a little bit of blood since he had used so much flames. Which basically happens. Which now we have to go over to what happens next. Issei against the next opponent. It's Issei fighting, doing his training. That month of training goes by fast. Issei comes back, sees Konako the way she was, and it's actually pretty sad for her, finding out that she's actually half she's actually a Nekomata. And that's straight up weird. Like, he's like, what the fuck? Now, that's what made it where it was kind of weird seeing that. Saying is he didn't really give a fuck, though. He meets Kuroka the next day at the ball, and he's like, "What's poppin', bitch?" He yells, "Dragon Flame." Basically using his flame to burn all the smoke away from them. Huffing and puffing just a little bit, saying, "I'll protect her, even if it kills me doing it." Oh, like you're strong enough to. Throwing a fireball at Issei absorbs it, straight up ate that bitch. What? Little thing you don't know about dragons, they eat fire. What? Now I have your magic that you just put in that ball of fire. Luckily I didn't put much magic. Fine, I'll use a different element. Ice magic. Issei saying, "That won't work." Breathing flames. Saying, "Well, I was just a distraction. Bye." As she basically vanished, saying, as he said, fuck. What was we distracted? They get back, and this is when Issei straight up said, "What the fuck happened while I was gone?" About that, Loki appeared. He tried attacking the Allfather. You know, Juka Beelzebub, he's kind of sealed him away and sent him right into, far as fuck. Fine, send us there. Fine. Issei, basically saying the exact same team as they did in canon. Only with a little bit of a different thing. Since Issei already has 2 Phoenix tears he wears as cufflinks. They were a gift by Ryzen. And he has a third, he has in his jacket, which is a kind of pin thing. He didn't know what the fuck it was. He figured it might be a Phoenix tier by Raveled at this party. Now, this is when Issei's basically, they go to the fight, and Issei still has it in his jacket. He's fighting, like, against this thing, whenever, noting he only has those 2 Phoenix tiers right now. So, he thinks, yeah, he's got 3 Phoenix tiers, no big deal. He can only do this for so long. As his cufflinks, the first thing that happened was when they were fighting, in this version, he took off his cufflinks and threw them to 2 people. Saji and Kiba, saying, "Use those if you need them," as he flew forward, but he forgot to mention to anyone else he has a Phoenix here. But when he still got bit by Fenrir, he couldn't handle it. He was laid out fucking clean. Everyone was pissed, and they were straight destroying Fenrir and Loki, but they couldn't do anything to Loki. As Issei's laid clean out, he's straight up laid on the ground. As that pill bottle thing falls out of his pocket, Rias, who stopped being in wrath for a moment, put it on Issei. Issei saying, "Enough!" Grabbing Mjolnir, saying, "Transfer!" After he tried boosting a whole shitload, this slams into Loki and knocks him clean the fuck out. Then, he has to deal with, next. He dealt with his next problem. His next problem was a mere fight, though. It was a fight that Issei now has to do. And it was against, the same people, shit happens. Basically at this point on, until the fight against Cyberwar happens, everything is basically as canon. But when it does happen, here's a big difference. Issei did nothing but training. He's stronger, he's smarter, he's faster. He's more ready for anyone. He can 1v1 a little bit of most people. But now he has to fight me 1v1 with, Cyberwar. And even using up to Balance Breaker, even powering all the way up to his strongest amount, until the point where he literally passed out of using his boost and was exhausted before the battle, about a day before the battle, to try reviving, basically wake up Cyberwar's mom. It didn't work. At least he didn't think it worked. They wound up having their fight. In this version, Cyborg, when he got knocked clean the fuck out, he straight up just laid out while standing, saying, as he said, "What a badass, this goddamn guy," as he sat on his ass, since he just straight up fell down. Cyborg did lose that fight, but damn it was impressive. This is when Issei straight up said, "I win." Cyborg basically being clean the fuck out, and everyone basically saying, "Holy shit," because no one ever defeated Cyborg before. The only ones they thought they could were basically the devils, the devil kings, and that was it. Now, this is when Issei said, "You did good." This is when Cyborg would go home and meet his mother again. She was alive. Then, eventually, Issei would actually wind up having kids. One with Rabble, one with Rias, that all should happen. One with each of the girls from his harem, and that all happened. Or at least, and two with a few, and they eventually take over his strength. But as the Red Dragon Emperor, until he dies, no one else can get the gear. And because he lived so fucking long, the gear was basically really seen, except for by, strong enough people to talk to him. Eventually, Issei even took the title of God. But it was very difficult for him to take, since he had to, take all of the wings. He had to have at least one set of devil wings, one set of fallen angel wings, and one set of angel wings. And at least one pair of or at least two pairs of dragon wings, which is kind of a full set. So, while Great Red's the only one who truly has a full set of dragonic wings, and that's because he only shows his 4, but in human form he has all 12. But God didn't have all 12, he only had 2. 2 pairs, that is. When Issei's able to take all the fallen angel from Azazel basically says here, giving him a single pair that he could boost from. Eventually he got all 12 pairs of fallen and devil, both. So he's standing there like, now what? As Michael would bless him, giving him a pair of angel wings. Eventually this does work. Issei getting a demonic tail and devil horns, as well as eventually even angel, and even eventually an angel halo above it, saying, what the? So what I give to the Fallens? Well, we really don't have much except for this. Sure, it's another halo, but this one is pitch black. I'll take it, as he's basically mastered all of the elements that they have, and even with Tannen becoming strong enough of a dragon to be a real fucking threat. Even though Tannen goes into dragon form into human form and has about 8 wings, he knows he's not quite that guy, though. Since he straight up said, look, we all know I'm not that strong compared to most, but I'll fight. As this one Ten eventually even gave, Issei's final gift, which was a pair of dragon wings. Issei would train those until he got 2 pairs, and take the mantle of God, and basically holding that up, doing a gift, and passing down the boosted gear. Well, not really passing it down, passing Drake out of it, but giving just the ability to boost up as a normal thing in the gear. It would have a balance break from Juggernaut Drive, but it would all be run by, not Drake, but a little fraction of his power. So it was more like having, it was still a Longinus, it was still the strongest Longinus, though, in comparison, but it wasn't exactly the best anymore, so in some classes. It was the best gear, yes, but it didn't have Drake stuck in it. It had a portion of Drake, not much. Back to What If. So this is when Issei finally get a final goodbye, as he said that was good of a fight to everyone. Right before he died, in his grandchildren's arms. As an old gray god, he would wake up, eyes opening, saying, "What the hell was that?" As he looks at God and himself, he looks at God eye to eye, saying, "Well, my boy, you're completely out of existence. That's what happens when a god dies. Well, a god of the Bible, at least." So this is where we go. Yes, we have a portal to every other death, but not a big deal. Wait, what? You mean you can still visit all of them, but you are stuck here for a little while. How long? 2 months. Why? Because you must show me that you are worth the title you stole. Stole title. You know what that was doing to Michael? I know it was hurting him, but he could have handled it long enough to become the new god. He couldn't handle it. What do you mean? Look at his back. There's scars, aren't there? Yes, that's because he didn't try doing the proper stop. He did the proper training. He kept trying. He damn near every day tried using that one fallen wing his fallen hair he was given. He could never do it. It would almost kill him every time. And doing your job made it no easier. I took that burden off of him. Who do you think fucking has the title now? Your child. Why? Because he has earned it. Michael gave him those wings to become the successor, seeing the strain it put on me. So we gave it to the next and next. And it'll go on and keep going on until eventually nothing exists. God saying, good, you have the right answer. Goodbye, Issei. As he would fade to ashes. This is when Issei Strip said, hello everybody in the afterworld, but eventually they all fade to ashes as well, and Issei fades himself, being all reincarnated into their next weird lives, but probably not even knowing each other, let's be honest. That was like a one-time kind of incarnation shit, but yeah. And that's the end of this series. Like, this is the end of what if Riser didn't want to marry Rias.